loads of different factors at play here. And it's interesting you mentioned it was kind of Gerrard driven. That's no huge surprise to me. It felt like a fit when Gerrard arrives there, and all of a sudden the Saudi interest, it does feel like a good fit from that sense. And as you mentioned, he has had that conversation, it appears, with Jurgen Klopp, and he hasn't been given the assurances over game time that he would have liked. So from a footballing perspective, I get it. There's loads of other factors at play that we won't go deep into now because neither you nor I are the right person to speak about that necessarily. But just in terms of figures, Dave, I mean, we've seen a lot sort of bandied about in terms of his salary, of course, but from a Liverpool perspective, it was fascinating to me that Ettifaq felt like they could potentially sign him for free. Is that right? Is that ever a possibility?
Well, that's their hope, to be honest. And I think, once people hear, I suppose, Saudi Arabia or Saudi Arabian clubs, they immediately think, oh, 40, 50, 60 million, we're going to go out and buy Lavi on the back of this or whatever it may be. But Al Ettifaq are not a PIF club, so they have to work within a certain structure. And I think it's kind of quite simple for them that they just said, well, this is our package. This is what we can afford. You come back to us with whatever way you want it kind of is it going to be true salary and a transfer fee, or is it going to be true salary? But also, I just want to clarify that Liverpool are well within their rights to seek a fee for the Liverpool captain. He's 33 years old, 2 years left on his contract. If any club approaches you, you're well within your rights. But I just think it's a thing here that it's kind of black and white. That this is what we have to spend. If it's enough to get it over the line, great. But if it's not, we move on. But I can also absolutely understand Liverpool's position. This is someone who's played the majority of the Premier League games last season. He maybe his best days are behind him. I think we can agree on that, but he still has a lot to offer. So Liverpool, why would they let him go for free? So I think it's going to be a thing that it's going to maybe drag on for a while. There's going to be kind of a who'll flinch first kind of thing. And I think eventually he probably will leave. He's got obviously a transfer fee is one thing, but obviously he takes up a lot of the wages in the club as well. And if you can bring in a 19-year-old Lavia on potentially less wages from a footballing point of view, it would make a lot of sense as well. So that was it. They were hoping they could get him for free or maybe a nominal fee of a couple of million or less even. And I don't think it's a thing that there's like a large fee there, just hoping for the best. Let's see, can we get him for free? I think it's a genuine thing that this is the package. If we can get it over the line, we'd be interested in taking him. And if not, no. And maybe it mightn't work for Liverpool. Maybe it's not of interest to them.
Yeah,
So
that's
we'll have to wait and see.
that's it for me, Dave, really. So you're right. I mean, Liverpool are definitely well within their right to sort of stand firm for a fee because you've got 2 years left on his deal on the eve of a new season. He is the club captain. Why would we let him just walk away for nothing? Doesn't make any sense. But and also in the same hand, like I say, El Ettifaq, they're perfectly within their rights to come and say, we have this pot of money, whatever it may be. We need to make this deal work, wages and fee. So it's kind of it's an interesting situation. But I do wonder, Dave, whether even from a Liverpool fan perspective, like you say, like what happens if they can't come to an agreement on this? Because now it's abundantly clear that John Henderson is keen on leaving the football club for Saudi Arabia. So if they can't come to an agreement, what happens next? Like, where do we stand on this one? It seems so bizarre to me to think that after all of this, Henderson might end up staying. Is that even a possibility?
I suppose it is a possibility. Depends how much Liverpool dig their heels in, like I said, which they're entitled to do. But look, if I can just maybe go off the point that unfortunately Jordan Henderson seems to get abuse from fans no matter what decision he makes, which I think is absolutely horrific. To me, it's the worst side of Twitter. Just Jordan Henderson in particular, someone who's such a great professional, a great role model, and he's been a great player. That the way some of the so-called fans can reply to his comments and some of the comments say online, to me, it's just absolutely incredible, really, that you get, especially a player like that and a character like that. So, I think, Jordan Henderson, I suppose he has a bit of leverage in the sense that I was told I'm not going to get much game in it. So what do you want me to do, kind of thing. But I think it's kind of got to a stage now where it's gone past the point of rescue that maybe everyone feels, it might be best for him to move on. But at the same time, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp was obviously diplomatic in the discussion he had with him. Maybe he said that, I'm just speculating, but maybe he said something along the lines that, you're not going to get many game minutes, but you're a big character and I need you around the squad, of course, because if this deal falls through, you don't want to be the manager who spoke to the player and said, look, we want you out of here. And I don't think Klopp would have that decision with Jordan Henderson anyway. And I think it's clear to see for everyone there's a much stronger bond there between Henderson and Klopp on a deeper level of a player than a player and a coach. It's more kind of a maybe a mentor and that kind of relationship. But it's interesting. I suppose it all just comes down to if Liverpool really want to just free up some wages, or if it's a thing that they're going to say, no, we're digging our heels in on this one. And of course, there's been talk about Fabinho as well, so that will have a factor. I think between Thiago, Fabinho, and Henderson, I think the club will be happy let two of them leave and maybe make room for Lavia and whoever else they may have in mind. Barella, I would like myself, but that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Barella. That'd be a fantasy signing for me as well. Yeah, me personally. I felt like Jordan Henderson did have a role coming into the season. It was more the James. Yeah, it was more the James Milner role in terms of dropping into games, seeing out games, starting the occasional match here and there. But just in terms of his presence, and it does feel like a big loss in terms of losing both leaders in the same summer. Feels like a big blow to us, especially so close to the season starting. But yeah, just to round off then, Dave, I mean, like I say, you've covered this pretty much from start to finish, this potential deal. How do you see it transpiring from here? I know it's been almost impossible to predict from 1 minute to the next, but what do you think happens next? Like you say, do you think we've gone too far now for this deal to fail almost?
My gut tells me that he will go. At the moment, I believe that representatives speaking on behalf of Jordan Henderson have asked for a little bit of time to go back to speak to Liverpool, and they will come back and see where things are at. But my gut tells me that he will move on, and I just think of all players in the club. If someone has said, "Look, this is what I personally want to do. Can you make it happen for me?" I think, as I said, of all players in the club, he's one that the club might make that exception for. And I said it last night. I just want to say it again that that many years ago when he didn't speak to Brendan Rodgers to say that he didn't want to be part of a Clint Dempsey swap deal to Fulham. He wanted to stay and fight for his place. If we were to say then that he was going to captain the side to a Champions League and a Premier League, it would have been just unbelievable, really. And that has happened. So we'll see. But my gut tells me that he will go.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Dave O.C. Kopp, the man who's very much been at the forefront of the Jordan Henderson to Saudi Arabia transfer saga. If you want to watch the rest of the show and all the amazing content we've got over on redmenplus.com, head over there now. And if you sign up as a captain yearly and use code Bobby, you will get 50% off a year's worth of content. That's the amazing Bobby Firmino documentary, plus all our other amazing content, journal insights, transfer insights, and the matchday stuff as well. So get over there and get it done.
Hey, so pre-season is just around the corner for the mighty Reds, but if you want to spend your days, weeks and hours celebrating a Liverpool legend, then check out Bobby Firmino, Best in the World, our 3-part documentary series, episodes 2 and 3 exclusively streaming on redmenplus.com right now with full interviews from so many of our amazing contributors, including the Liverpool skipper Jordan Henderson, the greatest goal scorer the club's ever seen, Ian Rush, and a hell of a lot more right now. Go to redmenplus.com. All episodes of Bobby Firmino, Best in the World, streaming today.